Hey guys, on today's video, I'm shopping right here on Apple.com. So first of all, you guys can go right into the store, or what you can choose is Mac, iPad, and then so on from the navigation up here, including the watch or anything like that. It doesn't really matter which way you go to buying whatever you would like, but the very first thing you should do is create an account if you don't already have one. So you're gonna notice on the very top right hand corner, this little icon, just tap on it. Once you tap on it, you're gonna see sign in. Click on sign in. I'm gonna see this. Now right here, if you don't have an ID, don't worry about it. You can create one right here. So on the bottom, you're gonna see create yours now. Just click there. And then from here, just fill this up. It's just your name, your country, date of birth. No, nothing has to be exact. If you don't want it to be, then put in an email address. It can be any email. Create a password. Obviously, make it different than your password for your own email. Then put in a phone number. It can be for any country, which is good to verify and just in case to reset your passwords and all that stuff. It's very important. Down here below, you just put in whatever image you see here, or just try a new code, or visually impaired, you have that option as well. And then down, all the way down in the middle, you're gonna see continue. Just click on continue. But obviously, if you have a sign in, make sure to sign in. So that's the first thing you should do. So for example, if you're a student, just go right into Google, type in Apple student, and then whichever country you're from, so it takes you directly to that specific website. So for example, in Canada, it would be apple.com/ca because that's for Canada. So let me just show you what I mean. Just type that up in Google, and then your very first option should tell you Apple Educational Store. Once you click there, it's gonna take you here. Now that you're here, you're gonna get that discount that students get. So definitely if you're a student, do that. If you're not, just go into apple.com and you're good to go. It's gonna be the exact same instructions regardless. Then like I mentioned before, you can go and click on whichever one you want, or you can go right into the store. And once you click on store, you're gonna see everything available at the moment. But let's say you don't find what you want right away just by scrolling through. Then go ahead and click up here, for example, Mac. Then you can choose which Mac you want. So let's say MacBook Air, because that's the newest thing right now. Then go into MacBook Air M2 once again. Then if you are convinced that this is what you want, so you scroll through and you saw that, on the top right hand corner, you're gonna see buy. Click on buy. That's on the top right hand corner. Then from here, you can choose which one you want. So let's say you don't want the 15-inch, you want something more travel size, would be 13-inch M2. Then remember right here, you can choose which one you want. So if you pay a little bit more, you get a little bit more, obviously, more gigs, everything. So it's usually worth it to pay a little bit more. However, let's say, Macs are really expensive anyways. If you pick a standard model and you don't upgrade things, which I'm gonna show you later, it's gonna get to you faster than if you upgrade things. So let's give you this as an example. But before we click on select, you're gonna see these options down here below. You're gonna see pickup, check availability, and then right here, delivers to. You can always click here and put in your own postal code. So that way you know how long it's gonna take to deliver to you. And yes, you guys can always choose free for you guys to just go on and get it by this date for free. But again, just make sure the postcode is right. So you can click on it and change the postcode at any point in time. I'm just going to leave it as is for now. And right here, we're just going to select this Mac just as an example. And now that we're here, we can scroll down. We're going to see all the options. And this is what I mean. If you guys change anything from here. So everything's your basic model already. But if you guys add more to it, more cores, if you add more memory to it, if you add more storage to it, well, that's when the delivery date usually takes longer. But if you leave everything just as is, you should be okay. That's the fastest you're gonna get the particular Mac. So this is a bundle, educational bundle that they offer. You do not need to get it right now from here. You can just buy whatever software you need later on. But take a look at it if that's something that's interesting to you. Then you keep going down, there's a little bit more stuff in there. Anyways, we're gonna go into add to bag. So let's just add it to our bag. That's on the bottom right hand corner of our screen on the bottom. Once again, add to bag. And if you scroll down a little bit, you're gonna see this. They do offer some stuff that you might need at the start, such as AppleCare. AppleCare is pretty good, especially if you're gonna travel with the Mac a lot. If you're not, don't buy it. So you could do this. You could do annual coverage until canceled. That actually sounds awesome, especially if you travel a lot. Apple's pretty good with their warranties. 3 years of coverage means exactly that because you get the standard 1 year with Apple. So adding that 3 years doesn't add in 3 years. It just adds in 2 years to this. So just make sure that this is what that means. You're just adding 2 more years for $200. But if you think about it, annual coverage is technically better because it does tell you until canceled. So in 2 years, you could cancel this and you still pay those 200. So technically, the better deal would be to check this off right here. Now keep in mind that if you bought a Mac a long time ago, you didn't even have to buy these protection plans. They would just help you out. You did not have to do that, and they were great. Now, even though you've got this Apple Care Plus, yeah, they're not that great. You still have to pay out of pocket some stuff for repairs, and they don't cover everything. It's just not as good as they were before. But in the end of the day, I do have to highlight that they do have unlimited repairs for accidental damage. So again, if you're going to travel, I would add that up. For me, I mostly work from home and only take it out in certain places, sure, but it does not travel too much. I don't put it in a backpack and then go to school, for example. Something else you might be looking at are USB-C to Lightning cables. Well, not this. I don't think you guys will need, unless you have an iPhone, you want to charge it up and you don't already have this cable. Then yes, buy this. Adapters. That's something that most of you will need, because you guys might not even know, these MacBook Airs, you need adapters, and that's because the plugs that you have there, you're gonna notice they're all USB-C. So you're gonna need to a regular USB adapter. That's what you're not gonna need, most of you. And that's so you guys can use flash drives and so on. This is 25 bucks, for example. I do wanna highlight that aftermarket ones work just fine as well, and they are less than half the price. But for now, let's assume everything's good to go. We're just gonna review our bag. Right now, finally, it's gonna tell us our total. So it's 1,400. That includes taxes. So it was 1,299 plus taxes. They do take off those 200 bucks. So I want to highlight, if you are a student, you do get $200 off, and it's true. You actually do get $200 off. So you could technically put those into Apple Care Plus if you want to, but if you don't want to, just keep going down. You're gonna see your total. Like I said, your taxes. Shipping should be free, should say free if you want to ship it to your house. Also want to highlight that your estimate time that's going to get to your house, Apple's pretty good with that. But anyways, just keep going down. You're going to see checkout with Apple Pay or just check out. Even though if you don't have Apple Pay set up, you're going to checkout. Later on, you can select Apple Pay if you change your mind later on. So I'm just going to go to checkout for now, even though if you're doing with Apple Pay, you can do that, just to check all your information if it's all correct. So just go into checkout. And once again, I want to highlight that you could check out as a guest, but don't do that. Always create an Apple ID. It's just going to be your email, and then you create a password just like I showed you before. So go ahead and sign in. Once you've done so, again, just double check that this is okay, your postal code. And I also want to highlight that you can always choose to pick up. Usually they will charge you for picking up. So if I scroll down, just like I mentioned before, you could pick it up as soon as today, like here it says, but it's gonna cost you 13 bucks. You can just have it shipped to you. For example, for me, it says that by the 24th, so that makes it 3 days for me. And again, that's because I picked a standard model. If I did any modifications, or if I bought a higher end one, more expensive one, they also take a little bit more time. And by a little, I mean sometimes a month. But that's the most it's taking up for me, and that was during COVID as well. If you keep going down, because of their promotion, you're gonna see this Apple gift card by email. And they do something tricky when it comes to the gift cards that they give you. So I'll show you that at the end of your billing. It'll show you like like you bought the gift card. So it's not just something that they gave you, but they show kind of like you bought it. So I want to highlight that as well, because right now that's the promo, and that's usually what they do with the promos. They show you in the receipt like you bought that particular thing, although you didn't. So that's actually bad for businesses, because you actually did pay the entire thing. It just shows you on the receipt a different thing. But anyways, let's just continue into shipping. You're gonna see that on the bottom left hand side. Once you've done that, you're gonna see your shipping address. Just make sure it's okay, or add a new address here. Scroll down a little bit more, you're gonna see your email address, and then you can put in your phone number. I would strongly recommend doing that. Then all the way in the bottom, on the left hand side, you can click on continue to payment. And like I mentioned before, you would have the option for credit card, debit card, or Apple Pay. So those are options. And then if you keep scrolling down, you're gonna see Apple gift card. So you could apply it right here. So if you already have an Apple gift card, you can apply it right here and enter in the numbers, and then just going to review your order. So I'm gonna click on credit just to show you what pops up, the expiration date and the back of your credit card number, then your address and all that stuff. That's for billing. Or if you choose to do Apple Pay, which is your second option, just tap there. Once you've done so, just go into review your order on the bottom left hand side. From here, it's gonna tell you ready to place your order. It's going to tell you when it's going to deliver. You can see your product details, so make sure you're buying the right thing. So right here, yeah, everything looks fine. That's exactly what I wanted. I made no changes. There's my special offer. And I want to mention that they will send me this by email. So that's a highlight that I want to do that you're going to get right away, actually. And that's why they actually charge you for this gift card. And you will see that on the final receipt. So you will get an email. And on the invoice, you're going to notice that they charge you for that. But at the same time, they kind of took that price off from your Mac. So they're not really charging you. Again, on the invoice, it shows you like they're charging you, but they're really not. And if you go all the way down, just make sure to click on this little box on the left-hand side where it says Terms and Conditions. Put that check mark there. Once again, you're going to see your shipping, your taxes, and then continue with whichever payment you chose. In this case, it was with Apple Pay. It would be the same thing with a credit card. Once it's all done, you're going to see the very last page where it's just going to tell you that they sent you an email and your order number. So obviously I have that blurred out here, but you have an order number. Make sure to screenshot it if you want to. You don't exactly have to. As long as you check your email and you got it already, you're good and set to go. You can always check on the progress of where your Mac's at. If they're processing. Don't worry if they're still processing your Mac even until the very last day before they even ship out your Mac. So don't worry about that. If that happens to you, happens to a lot of people. Most likely it will get to you on time, or else you will get an email saying that maybe there's a delay. From my own experience, that barely ever happens. And if you scroll down just a little bit, it's going to tell you once again when you're going to get it. So for me, that's within 3 days. And at this point in time, we are all done. Congrats for buying your Mac, and I'll see you on my next tutorial. If you have any comments, questions, you guys can write down here in the comments area. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.